I'm still very hopeful that this is CX-50 month, as these beautiful new, all new crossovers from Mazda. We still have time in March for the stock or pre-sold vehicles to be headed your way to a Mazda dealer near you. And today we are actually going to look at a few first-hand photos of the CX-50 from the Mazda Resort Tour that's still going on. And this, of course, is a couple of CX-50s around different ski resorts in the Pacific Northwest. These photos are from a couple of participants or visitors of an event in the state of Washington. So I appreciate having these photos. We're going to look at each one and break down the features that we see and the different equipment, and get a little more excited about the CX-50. So I'm here on the boulevard looking at the beautiful CX-50 from all the way across the country, and you can be on the boulevard too. Before we jump in, you could help support the channel. Depending on which device you're looking at, there may be a merchandise shelf below the video. If not, you can go to jonathansewell.shop and you can be on the boulevard too with your very own shirt, and there's other merchandise items there as well, and many different shirt designs with more being added every day. So I appreciate your support. So let's jump into the CX-50. More
car vids.
More
car vids.
Before we jump into the photos, I do need to thank Shanele R and Robert M for supplying these photos. They were shared on Facebook. You may have seen them, but we're going to jump in and cover all the features. So let's get started. And here is the display that you've probably seen. I know Mazda shared it on its social platforms as well. So we're going to jump into the Premium Plus first. And here's some exterior shots. So we know that this is going to have the 20-inch wheels. We know that it's going to have the more rugged look with the vents on the front and the rear. Love the design. And you can see that this one has the upgraded tail lights, of course, and the rear bumper garnish there, the silver. Here's a look from the back. Dual exhaust. Turbo we can see, and of course the CX-50 all-wheel drive. And there is that complete look there of that silver garnish around the exhaust outlets. But also, a little sneak hint here, if you see that front and rear bumper garnish, it's a turbo. Here's a look of that rear corner kind of tight on that vent and those LEDs. Here's a look at the front, and we see that we can have those big vents. Then, as I mentioned just a minute ago, the silver garnish on the bumper. Love the big black dark signature wing. I was curious about this iActive Sense to begin with the Mazda Radar Cruise Control, because they've relocated the radar sensors. You can see they're just above the silver garnish and not in the logo or emblem. So these probably won't be as big of emblems as we have on the CX-5s and CX-30s and other vehicles, but the radar is housed below there, so we want to make sure that we pick up any pedestrians or anything on the road for safety. Just a beautiful vehicle, and you can see it's got those signature LED lights from this Premium Plus, and then sticking with a little strip LEDs there right above the cladding, just like the CX-30. Here's all-wheel, my favorite wheel. I do like the 18-inch from the Meridian. I do like the idea of a 20-inch wheel, and glad that they went this way. All right, let's get into the interior. Here is the Terra Cotta, and the Terra Cotta is just going to be special, and I picture this leather being very soft, so I hope that is the case. Here's a tight look at the steering wheel. Again, the same steering wheel that we have on the Mazda 3 and CX-30. So very familiar with this, kind of the newer, updated steering wheel. This stitch pattern is beautiful, and was actually, that center stitching was designed to look like lacing up a hiking boot. So I love how they tied all these design elements together. Love the little stitching or piping on the edges there of the bolsters and the seat cushion, and just excited to experience this seat firsthand myself. Here's a look at the rear. You can see the exposure changed a little bit, so this may be more of an actual color, kind of the color of dirt. Then it was a little more orange in the last picture. Still have that same center on the outboard positions, that lacing up a boot look, and I just feel this is going to be very comfortable seating all the way around. This is the thing I wasn't 100% on. Obviously Mazda's sold on it because they have it on the CX-60. This center console that opens up on both sides. I'm sure there was some good engineering reasoning behind this, but I hope it's a little bit more sturdy than the CX-9. If you put pressure in the center of the CX-9, there's always a little bit of give, so I hope that this is more sturdy. You can also see in this picture the rear heated seats there. Again, we know we're in the Premium Plus, but it has some of those amenities right there, and the two USBs in the console. What's not shown in this picture is the two USBs below the seat heaters. Here's a look at the Bose sound system here, and of course this is a 12 speaker system, and not on every unit, but you will have good availability of Bose on the different models. So this one's actually in the door, which is pretty neat. Here's a look at the door card, and love how they tied the kind of the contrast stitching with the black soft touch materials and the Terra Cotta or orange stitching, and then tying the Terra Cotta into the armrest. Just good design. Happy with it. A look at the center stack here with your HVAC controls, ventilated seats. I love how the heated steering wheel and ventilated and heated seats are all in the same area or general area. Interested in that little display there and those other touch, almost like not quite piano keys, but again scaling it up a little bit with how that controls are set up above those heated seats. Here's a look at the commander control knob. Again, mirror image of the CX-30. The only differences that we have, of course, as we move up, is instead of just your sport mode on the CX-30, you do have the MI drive available now on the CX-50. Here's a wide angle shot of the rear seats, and again I just think they're going to be very comfortable and spacious. A little bit more room in your legs and your hips in this CX-50 than the CX-5, and a lot more of course than the CX-30, so happy for this. Looking up from the rear seat at the panoramic roof, I love bringing to light to all the passengers. It could go back a little bit farther in my opinion, but just excited to have a panoramic roof altogether. The only thing I'm not sure of is this armrest in the back. I guess I'm just killing the console lid and the armrest. I wish they had a console back here like in the CX-5. Just really dresses it up. I don't like this look in some of the other Mazdas either. This little cup holder here just looks kind of cheap, and they could have put a console here as well, even if they didn't need to wire the USBs. Just give us something to scale it up and class it up a little bit. Again, this is a Premium Plus, so you have the frameless auto-dimming rearview mirror, and that's all we have for this Polymetal Gray Premium Plus. So let's jump into the other vehicle here under the awning, the Zircon Sand Meridian Edition, if in fact that's what it is. Getting started here with a wide angle view of the whole thing. You can see the graphics, the wheels, and the roof rack, and we'll jump into those a little bit tighter shots here in just a moment. Looking from the back forward on the wheel, not as dirty, but I love the Wild Peaks, the Falcons, ATs, trail tires, and I don't know, the 20 inchers or these 18s. These are my top two favorite wheels here. These look definitely more rugged, more strong, and excited for them. Here's a look from the front back at the side, and looking at these wheels and aggressive tread on the tires. Even if I had the 20-inch wheels, I probably would want to upgrade to these tires or some aggressive tread. They just bring it all together for me. Here's a tighter shot of the hood graphic, and in fact you can get this added to any color, any CX-50 through a Meridian Choice accessory package. It will have the graphics and the crossbars, platform, everything, garnish on the bumpers and rockers, everything to give it the look. One look at the front here with the graphics. Love the pop there of the gloss black signature wing. This one has front sonar, so what does that mean exactly? Well, there's some other hints and cues here as we go inside, but this is actually a Premium Plus CX-50 with the Meridian accessories added. So this is not and won't be your Meridian package or Meridian Edition. And here's another look at the front with the headlights on, so you can see that signature LED lighting with the little curved underneath the projector beam. And again, big vent up front. Loving it. Very aggressive. And here's a closer look of the grille. This is very similar to what we see on the new CX-5, the 22, but again, the emblem is more traditional instead of having the radar housed in there, so just a different look altogether. Here's a look at the rear with those vents, liftgate open. Of course, you see the sonar there and the tail lights. I love how these tail lights break up and then the reflectors on the bottom, so looks really good to me. Tight shot of the Skyactiv G Turbo emblems, and of course, all Meridian Editions, if this was in fact one, would be a turbo, but all Meridian Editions are turbos. Here's a wider look at the rear, and again, we know it's turbo, but you can see the wider outlets there and the emblems, of course, but this looks good. Here's a wide angle of the side from close up. I mean, these wheels just look great. Looks real mean and real rugged. I'm very happy with this. Here's a tight shot of the roof rack, and I used these pictures to narrow down in a video recently that these are Mazda genuine accessories. So was at first not sure of this, but excited for it. And I think that this actually has, with that platform, you get another set of crossbars there, the silver ones that we've seen on some of the vehicles, some of the demo vehicles. But so you got black crossbars, the roof platform, then another set of crossbars to kind of hold everything in place on that platform. And here's the tried and true Skyactiv G Turbo underneath the hood. You can see everything's positioned very similar to the CX-5. So you have the engine, of course, in the middle. Then you have the big control module on the left. Then your big air box on the right, battery and fuses. So everything's positioned, and then of course your brake fluid over top. So same layout that we're used to. Now here is a look back out. I believe this is towards the front vent, so we know that it's real. Actually allowing some airflow through there, so excited for that. Now looking inside at a few photos here, this is that what we thought was the Meridian Edition, but actually is a Premium Plus. And again, inside we see heated and ventilated seats. So we have both of those and heated steering wheel, so we know that this is not a Meridian. Also, we know because it has black leather seating, and on the Meridian you can only get the Terra Cotta. Here's a look with the second row down. Looks like a lot more room than the CX-5 to me. So I'm excited about having a little bit more cargo room, a little bit more leg room when the seats are up. And of course they've been using this, but also love that pano roof. Here's another look at the stitch patterns inside and the door cards you can see from across the way there. Just that orange stitch and pops, but everything else is black. So ties in the dash, the door card, and the seats. Really love it. Here's the navigation, which would not be standard on the Meridian, but is standard on the Premium Plus. And again, this is a Premium Plus, so it has it. And it's the 10.25, same size screen. Love how it's positioned here. Just looks a little bit different than in the CX-5. Could be because the overall vehicle is just a little bit wider. Here's a little wider angle of the back and the cargo. Again, feels like, looking at this picture, or looks like, this is a lot more cargo. Here's lifting up the rear deck there, looking at the bows and the spare. Same layout that we're accustomed to. And, have that subwoofer on the bows, which the Meridian Edition will not have the bows. Last photo here is a look at the 18-inch wheels. Again, these wheels are from the Meridian Edition, although this was a Premium Plus. And you can definitely see that you have enough room for the, if you were to add all-terrain tires on the 20-inch wheel, you'd still have enough room in that wheel well. So excited that we can be versatile, and excited for all the new features of this wonderful CX-50, and excited for it to be March, which could be aka CX-50 month. Now, our vehicle here coming to the Boulevard will be produced on the 18th, so next week. That still gives them time, because if they're shipping west and shipping out to the farthest parts of the country first, that still gives them time from the 18th, week 10 days to go to Jacksonville and come here before the end of the month. So I'll keep you updated, of course. And thanks for joining me for a look of these first-hand pictures. Thanks again to Shanele R and Robert, Shanele and Robert, for allowing me to use these in this video. First-hand pictures, and I can't wait to get my hands on the CX-50. And you may want to get your hands on the Boulevard in Enterprise on some of this Jonathan Sewell swag and merch. So please check that out below. The link is in the description. I always appreciate any and every support. Even just watching this video, I appreciate your support greatly. I'll keep my ear to the ground for all new Mazda news, and I'll see you on the next one. More garbage.